Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Online students, I'm audible and you could see my screen. Yes. Okay. Where are we, guys? What are we discussing in the last class? Set timeout and set interval, some simple methods using which you could able to execute the set of instructions, not immediately when the controller reaches here, but when after some piece of time. Okay, after a given a time, say for example, after 5 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes. I mean, after a time, if I want to execute any of the piece of job, you can simply go with the timeout or interval methods. Now, what is the simple difference between the timeout and interval? In case of timeout, I've execute the instructions only once. Whereas case of your interval, I'll keep on repeating the instructions. Okay. So that is what we have seen on the top. That's it. We have seen the complex JSON object structure also, right? If you have a big, I mean, if you have some data which is hierarchically been defined, how do we represent the data in the form of JSON? That is what we have seen. When you go to the real time, no one is going to tell you that this is how you need to define the structure. They only say that this is the data I have. Now you need to represent in the form of a JSON. So in that case, you yourself need to come up with the idea of how that JSON structure should be. When you take a key, the key of a JSON should be a, what do you say, a JSON or a array or a value. It's all based on the data, what it is storing. You need to define the data structure there. Okay. And yesterday we have even seen like one recursive function. Yesterday only we have seen, right? Recursive function using which you can iterate over the JSON and you can identify each and every key value from the JSON object. That is what we have seen. Next thing. Nukraj, yesterday I'm asking your video. Nukraj, as I already said to you guys, if I don't have the video, how can I share it? It is not like I'm skipping the your messages. The last message what I received is April 17th. Okay, guys, I know that a lot of people are messaging me with the video. The reason why I'm not responding is I don't have it. Once I have it, I'm going to ping it. Okay, but you keep just giving a remind for me. Okay, the last one what I have is April 17th. I think for everyone, whoever asked me till April 17th, I shared the video. Yes. No one from offline. Okay, at least for the online, you asked me, right? You got that 70 until 70th. Obviously, if I have it, I will share it. I'm not getting, I mean, the guy who is actually helping us in uploading the videos, I think he's busy with some hospital things and all. He said like today or tomorrow, he's going to upload it. Okay, once I have it, then I'm going to share it back. So maybe by tomorrow, you can put a reminder for me again. Then I'm going to respond back to you guys, whoever want the videos. Okay. Next, and that is the reason, guys, I want another guy who can help me in uploading the recordings. It's not only one. If one guy is stuck with some personal things, no one else, I mean, the videos are getting delayed. Anyone else online now who can help me in providing the videos every day to me directly, or else I'll provide you a channel, you can upload there. Anyone online? No one. You're doing the recordings, but you want to keep it with you only. Okay, so let us come back to what, who is that, me? Okay, Rahul, that's fine, Rahul. Rahul, you just ping me immediately after this class. I will add you to one of the channel. So either you or the other guy, whoever is sharing, you can upload in the channel whenever it is done. Okay, thanks for coming forward and helping others. Okay, so the next part, what we have is, what's our next topic for today? This keyword. Okay, that's nice. One of the very important concept in your object oriented programming, guys. Okay. For example, I say, understand this concept, guys. I'm not directly going into this object. First of all, let me take you to the older style. Then I go to the newer style. Then I will give you a clear idea on when do we go with this operator. Okay, everybody put some extra attention. This is very, very, very important. For example, I say name is equal to say some Tina, where age is equal to say some 20. I say where M1 is equal to something called as 20, M2 is equal to say some 90, M3 is equal to say some 99. This is what I'm giving. 3 subject marks, 1 name, 1 age here. I say display student details is equal to a function. I say console.log name is plus name. Age is plus age. Where get total and AVG. I say total is equal to M1 plus M2 plus M3. AVG is equal to total divided by 3. Okay. From outside, I will be simply calling get total and average. From outside, I will be calling display student details. I have never discussed anything called as external JavaScript, right? We always write the JavaScript within the HTML. Okay, I will do that soon. Okay, this is what I have, guys. I have some set of variables which is being declared. I have some two methods. One is display student details and one is total and average. And I'm invoking these methods like this. Any questions? Clear, everyone? Now, when I save this guy, come back here, open in the default browser, inspect this, go to console, name is age, so and so, everything is coming. You tell me what is the first problem you observe in this code. Global, okay, that is a problem, fine. Next. What is the first problem you observe other than global? Too much coding. Too much coding. Next. Sorry? Marks. The very first thing what I have is, if you clearly observe this M1, M2, M3, those all belong to one category. Why you are defining them as individual variables? Instead, you make it as an array. Is it fine with everyone? Everyone? Okay. What I will do is, I will comment out this guy. This is type 1. Okay. Now I'm copying this guy. Understand these guys, again repeating. If you don't understand this guy, it's like a complete gap you're going to have in the object oriented programming. That is the reason I'm taking you to the old style. This practice at the initial starting we have done. Why the reason I'm doing this? I just want to repeat this for you. Okay, now what I'm saying is, instead of this M1, M2, M3, so here I will say this guy is type 2. Second way of defining this guy is, boss, instead of defining this M1, M2, M3 and all, you say something called as where marks is equal to array of some so and so, like this, isn't it? Now I will say average, right? Instead of this, I will say for loop where I equal to 0, I less than marks dot length, I plus plus. I say total plus is equal to marks of I. Are we good? Instead of 3, I can say marks dot length. Any questions, boss? Now, when I save it, come back and reload the page. Again, Tina, age some so and so, so and so. Do you still any problem in this type 2? What is that? Local, global, okay, that is fine. Other than that, what is this? JSON object, isn't it? What we discussed it, boss? boss, all the 3 marks belonging to one category, you have grouped into the array. But if you clearly see this type of data, the name, the age, marks, total, and average, aren't those all belong to the same student details itself? Yes or no? So do you really recommend? We already discussed that if it is more than one variable, one data we have, if at all you want to store the data, and if you have any relation between those two, you have to group them into an object. That is why we are going with the JSON object. Yes. I mean, do you recommend, can I group all this data by using array also? Yes. But what is the problem? We already know that. Do you recommend with arrays or JSON object? JSON object. The problem or the limitation what you have with your arrays is you only have the index value, but you don't have any of the keys there. Okay, that is where the gap is. So instead of doing this guy, now what I'm going is I'm even commenting this type 2. Okay, I'm going with something called as type 3 here. So what is this type 3? I take the same data. What I'm saying is never declare this scattered data. Instead of this, I say that where s details is equal to a JSON object. Under that, there is a name, something called as Tina. There is an age, something called as 20. There is a marks, something called as array of so and so. There is a total, something called as 0. There is an average, something called as 0. Okay. And is it is really needed to keep this guy key here? Not needed also. We can dynamically create the keys also. Okay. See, now when I'm saving this, now I don't declare these variables. Now I say name. What it should be? As details dot name. This guy. As details dot age. Like this. Okay. Next, this marks will be as details dot marks, as details dot marks, as details dot total. Before this, I need to say as details dot total is equal to 0. See, this is where I'm declaring a new key called as total. This is where I'll say that as details dot average equal to so and so. Okay, there is no key called as average and total, but dynamically we could able to create over here and over here. Now, when I save this guy, come back to the page and reload the page. It says total is not defined at line number 81. So this should be total as details dot total. Save this guy, paste it, come back and reload this guy. Marks is not defined. It should be as details dot. Anything you are accessing from the JSON object, it has to be object dot so and so. Come back and reload the page. Are we getting the same output? If you clearly see from the type 1, same output, type 2, same output, type 3, same output. We are not doing any changes for the different output boss, but the way we are writing the code, okay, the maturity level of the code, the what do you say, the professional level of this piece of code, we are increasing. We are making sure that it is all object oriented and the better way of coding we are doing. So you suggest 1, 2, or 3 here. Obviously the third one. Okay, that is one is the one where we have started with. Now everywhere you go, it is a JSON object and we are giving the set of methods. Any questions up to this? Is everyone so clear? Tarun, you are asking for line number 79th line. I mean, you have a question with plus equal to, Tarun? I mean, you have a query on the top of plus equal to or anything else? Yes. Okay. Simple, guys. For example, I say where A is equal to 90, where B is equal to say some 99. I say where, sorry, not where. I say B is equal to, or else where C is equal to say some 100. I say C is equal to C plus A plus B. This is the one way. The shortcut word is C plus equal to A plus B. Whenever you have this guy to be added to this result, you can simply say plus equal to. This is the shortcut. Otherwise, you can even do this. Am I clear, Tarun? Okay, so Venkatesh, come on. This is the question. That is the number of times I have repeated, right? If you remember, he's saying that, boss, when you're defining the JSON, you haven't mentioned anything called as total. But at the time of this guy, you are using this. What do you, is it is possible? Understand my question. He's saying that, boss, at the definition of this JSON object, you haven't used this total and average. But here you are creating this total and average. Is it is possible? In case of JSON object, you don't need to give the structure before. Wherever you wanted, you can create it. One way, what people will do, they will say that comma total is equal to 0. I'm creating a key called as total. But here it is not needed. When I say sdetailseek.total, what it will do, it will check. Do I have a key called as total? Yes. Then you simply add the value. If it is not there, I will create a new key here. Hope I'm clear, Venkatesh. Okay, either you give it or you don't give it, that is not a problem. Any of the key, any number of keys can be created dynamically in your JSON object. Okay, now the next thing what I have is, if you clearly observe this, someone comes and claims saying that where EMP name equal to something called as Tina. Someone comes and says that, boss, this employee name belong to student details. Do you say yes? Okay, this is also Tina. Nina. For example, someone comes and says that employee name belong to the student details. Do you allow? Do you agree? Obviously, no. What you simply say that, boss, if this employee name would have been belonging to the employee details, sorry, student details, it would have been defined inside the JSON object itself. So anything outside of the JSON object, that doesn't belong to the student details. Agree? Everyone? Super fine. That is very much good. Now I say that there is a function where display info emp is equal to so and so, like this. Someone comes and claims that display info employee emp is also belonging to this student details method. Do you say no? Can you say no? Any chance you can say no for that? No, boss. Why so? You are defining this individual scattered functions outside of the object. Okay. Because these methods, I mean, display student details is one of the individual method. Have we ever saying that this belong to the student details? No. Now my question is, boss, when you say that name is student information, you are grabbing it, grouping it. Age is student information, you are grouping it. Marks is student information, you're grouping it. Total is student information, you're grouping. Average is student data, you are grouping in the form of a JSON object. If you clearly see this display student details, is it not working for the student data only? Is this method is working for the student data only? Yes. Is this method called as get total and average? Is it is also belonging to the student data only? When these methods are also belonging to the student data, why the hell you're defining them outside? When you know that, when you are grouping all the data in the form of JSON object, because all these properties belong to the student. Now, in that case, these methods also belong to the student. Why the hell are you keeping them outside? Why don't you give it inside of the JSON object itself? Now, whenever I say, for example, I say something called where data is equal to something. I say A equal to say some 20. Can I do this? What is the data type of data.a? Number. Now I say display info equal to say some hello. What is the data type of data.display info? It is a string. Now when I say display info, if I make it as something called as true, what is the data type display info? Boolean. Now what if I define a function to this guy? What is the data type of display info? Function. So in your JavaScript, in your JSON, a key is capable of holding a function also. Now what I'm saying here, boss, when you're taking this display students, don't define them outside. You say display student details key like this, colon. What is the method you have? I say a function, something like this. Now you copy all this piece of code, into this guy. In the same way, take this key called as get total and average, and I say the key inside this guy. I can put this arrow function also. I'll say something like this. Whatever the logic you have, you keep it inside this guy. That's it. Now, if you see, when I say student details, not just set of properties, but even set of methods. So in general, a function which is defined inside an object, we generally call it as a method or member function. Okay, not just as a function as it is, but we call it as a method or a member function. If you call it as a function, it doesn't make any problem. Okay, now do you think it is a very valid way of defining the code? When I say student details, not only the properties. You see, when I say what is student details is set of properties along with its functionalities. So in the universe, anything you go there, none of the object will be having only the properties. They also have the functionality also. Let us take a practical example. For example, I take a fan. A fan is an object. In the universe, anything you can treat it as an object, boss. Okay, fan is an object. What are the properties? Physical properties, the total number of wings, the color, the company name, the motor type. Is it all the properties I say? Now, what are the functionalities? It is running. It can rotate fast. It can rotate in high speed, low speed. It can stop. These all are called as functions. Oh, sorry, functionalities. For example, I take this monitor. What are its properties? The dimensions, the color type. Okay, the physical things, whatever we have comes under the functionality. What are its functionalities? It can switch on, it can switch off, it can display a picture, it can display a movie. So these all will comes under the functionality. You take a stone, guys. There is a stone outside in on the road. There is a big stone. Even for a stone, you have some properties and functionalities. What is the properties I have? Stone color is the property. Stone dimensions is the property. Stone type is the property. What is the functionalities? I can throw it and I can hit someone. So that is called as a functionality. So I can throw it outside, I can catch it. So these all things will be coming like functionalities. In the universe, anything you go for, every object will be having set of properties along with the functionalities. Okay, that is what I'm doing. When I come for the student details, these all are the properties. These all are called the function. Earlier, I'm giving some scattered variables, scattered number of methods. In an application, I have 100 methods, 100 variables. How do you get to know that what all the methods belong to the student and what are the methods belonging to the employee or so? But right now, anything which is part of this object belong to the student data. If someone asks you what is the student data, I don't say name, age, gender, etc., etc. I simply say as details is the object which belonging to the student details. So this is what we call it as object-oriented programming. Anything what you define, don't define them as an individual scattered variables. Instead, define them as a JSON object. Keep everything in the form of JSON. You're wrapping every relative information in the form of a JSON object. Are we clear? Understood, everyone? Now someone is defining like this. I say display emp info is one of the method like this. Someone comes and claims that employee name belong to the student details. Do you agree? No. Someone comes and claims that display emp info belonging to the student details. Do you agree? No, boss. If these two would have been belonging to that object, they would have been defined inside the object, not outside of the object. Are we clear? Okay, so from now, any type of functions you are defining, properties you're defining, make sure everything is part of the JSON object. Okay, no scattered variables, no scattered definitions and all. Everything has to be part of the JSON object only. Are we clear? Online students, guys, Nukraj, I'll come to the destructuring and all. Okay, I'll discuss about that later. For now, are you clear with this? Everyone? Okay, fine. Now, when I save this guy, come back over here and reload the page. It says that get total and average is not defined at line number 85. It says that get total average is not defined, but we are defining it, right? It has to be. Right now, it is not a normal method. It is a part of a JSON object. I need to say as details dot so and so. Anything what you access, the properties, the methods you are accessing from the JSON object, it should be object dot the method name. Now, when I do this, save this guy, reload the page. Am I getting the same output? We have seen 4 different ways, boss. Okay, I have modified in the same function. Is it okay, or you want to revert it back? Is it okay? You're understanding this guy, right? So I have defined this is actually the type 4. So this is what it is always recommended. Anything what you have, and if you know from outside, I can even simply call this get display data. And inside this, I can simply say get total and average. So from outside, user will call display student details. Display student details internally will call all of this guy. Any questions? Clear, everyone? Okay. Now let me copy these details and I create a separate example. So let us talk about our actual concept, which is called as this keyword. Now I'm going with the student details. You tell me display student details belong to what object? As details. Name, age, total belong to what object? As details. Now what I'm saying is, when you have the properties which is belonging to the same object and you are referring on to the same method, instead of referring the method every time, you can simply say this keyword. This THIS is a predefined keyword supported in your JavaScript, which always indicates that the current object properties. Okay. Whenever I say display student details, what object I belong to? As details. Now, wherever I say this dot, indirectly it is equal to as details dot. Let us take a practical example. Say, for example, assume like he is my friend. Okay, assume I take him to my home and I'm showing my home saying that, boss, this is TV, this is fridge, etc. and all. Do you think that I will say the house is Prasad's house? Why I can't say it is my house, man? Okay, when I come from outside, I will say that, boss, this is my house. Now, when I'm showing my TV, I will say that this is my TV, my fridge, my bed, my room, my properties, etc. Do you think that I will say Prasad's TV, Prasad's home, Prasad's bed and all? In general, we don't. But even though I say Prasad, is any problem there? No, boss, it is same. So that is what your this operator is. When you're already inside the home, when you're already inside the JSON object, you don't need to keep using the object name dot, object name dot, object name dot. You simply say the shortcut as this dot. Now in my home, I'm using the shortcut called as my dot, my TV, my fridge, my etc., my things and all. Here we are using something called as this dot, where this indicates current object here. Now assume like I'm going to his home. Okay, he is also showing his objects. When he says that this is my TV, here my indicates he or me. In his home, when he is using something called as my keyword, there is he or me? It is he. Okay, so this object can be used in any number of objects. What object you are using, that is what it is referring to. Are we clear? Now I say, for example, I go with another object where emp details equal to a JSON object, employee name. Okay, now I say display emp info. I say console.log this dot name. EMP name. Now you tell me here I'm using this here. Where I'm using this, I'm into display info. Which object it belongs to? EMP details. So here this indicates EMP details. When I come to this guy, this indicates student details. So you can use this keyword in n number of objects, where this always indicates the current object properties. Whatever the object you're referring to, that is what I'm going to point out. That is what the object I'm referring to. Okay, so anywhere you are referring the object, Either you can say this dot or student details dot. See, somewhere I'm using S details, somewhere I'm using this here, like this. Now, when I'm saving this, come back and reload the page. Do I have the same output, boss? Sorry, this is the older problem, right? I open this default browser, inspect this guy, go to console. It says line number 33, there is an issue. Why so? It says cannot read properties of undefined dot length. Marks dot length it couldn't able to hear. Why so? Okay. For example, when I put this function, this is how it is coming. Okay, I will tell you why the reason when it is arrow function, why it is not working. I will tell you. Now, when I save this guy, this is how it is coming. Am I getting the same output? You see, this is again the type 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one you are doing. So this is what it is recommended. From the individual scattered variables and scattered function, we have reached to the objects with the methods along with the this operator. So this is what it is always recommended. You see, somewhere I'm using this, somewhere I'm using as detail. So it is not at all making any difference for us. Okay. Now, if I ask you a question, if you ask me a question, when I'm giving this as an arrow function, why this operator is not working, boss? I said you that wherever you have arrow function, you can put the normal function or arrow function. But when I'm using arrow function, it is saying that this dot marks is not accessible. Why the reason? From your ECMA 6, things got changed. What they are saying is, whenever you are defining a function in your object, you don't need to say function, keyword, etc. and all. You simply say open brace and close brace. That's it. This is the new way of syntax, not a concept here. It is just a syntax. No more arrow function, no more function keyword. But when you're defining a function inside the object, for example, here I want to say where some sample. So here I have this arrow function. Now you say that no boss, no more arrow function. No, here can I directly do this? That cannot be done. Okay. If we are defining a function inside a object, you simply say method name, open, close braces, open, close flower braces. That's it. See, this is one way or this is one way. Obviously, you follow the shortcut way, boss. Now I save it, come back and reload the page. This is working. That is the reason in arrow function, it is not working. Arrow functions are only used outside of the function as a normal function, not in the function definitions within the object. Are we good? This operator, wherever you want, instead of student details, you simply say this dot. Yes, please. Okay, why we are not using arrow function is, in general, let us come back to the old topic. What are the three different ways we can define a function? I can say a function sample like this. This is one way. I can say where sample is equal to a function like this. Can I do this? This is the second way. And we have seen like sample is equal to arrow function. Are you clear? Everyone, three different ways, this is the one which is recommended. Okay. Now, when I am going with an object, when I say S data is equal to a JSON object name, Mr. Raj. Okay, I say display info is going to be a key. Now I put a function. This is one way you can do. In the same way, I say sample data is going to be an arrow function like this. Or the new way what they are defining is sample data. Sorry, not sample data. say what is the method name, open close braces this. Now, when this guy is simple, the newest way, why don't we go for the old one? Are you clear now? When we use it, this guy, this operator is not available. This is not available. But in this type 1, this guy, this is available. This guy also, this is available. Okay, Nukraju, he's saying that without using this keyword, is it not possible for display name? You're saying display name. Are you asking, can you tell me the line number? Okay, are you asking for this guy? Which example you're using? I think this is the one, right? Yeah. Yeah. You're asking for display student details. Can you tell me the line number, please? Okay, Nukraj, line number 26. Okay, you're saying that this not method name. Line number 26, there is nothing called as a method name, right? It is a property. Are you talking about this dot name? Raju? Yes, sir. Okay. I mean, it is not a property, right? It's a method. Name is a property or a method? Name is a property or a method? Property. So here I can say this dot. Now, if I ask you a question, then average is also property. Why I'm using S details instead of this? I want to show you the difference that either you can use this or object name. Next, Rao, can we put this method, this dot method name inside object, sir? What do you mean by this, Rao? I mean, are you saying that can I invoke this guy like this? This dot method name? Are you asking this? Calling function. Obviously, I'm calling here. You are talking about line number 40? No? Okay, fine. You understood this, right? Doesn't matter. Obviously, any properties or methods you are referring of an object inside the object. Now, in my home, when I'm referring to my room or my properties or my functionality, it will be always my dot, right? But when I go out of the room, say, for example, assume like there is a big ground, everyone from my colony, they got the properties and they kept inside the ground. Now, do I need to say my dot? No, if it is outside the home, then it will be my name dot. This is Prasad's TV. This is Prasad so and so I need to say. But if it is inside the home, I can say this is my dot. So that is the reason when I'm coming outside at line number 40, can I say this dot? At line number 40, can I say this dot? No way. Why so? I'm outside of the object here. Only within the object, you can say this dot. Hope I'm clear? No, sir. No, it is not clear. Okay, I think you're answering it. Hope everyone is clear. Next, Venkatesh, can we call one method into another method inside the object? Venkatesh, that is happening, right? You see, this is one of the object. Display student is one method. Get total is one method. I'm calling one method inside the same object, right? Fine. Next, any more questions? Guys, this concept is very, very important. This is what we call it as object oriented. Okay, I mean, still we have another concept called as classes, etc. things and all. But before going, you should be very much clear with this. What is object? What is methods? How do we group all the values into this? Now, can you work with, now what if I want to make this data dynamic data? Let me comment out this part. Okay, and I'm going with a different way with dynamic data. Dynamic data. Okay, for this dynamic data, I don't have this marks, age and all. I don't even need to keep the total also, but just I'm keeping this guy so that you will see that there are some properties. I say read data from user. Can I directly do this? Okay, comma separator. I'm directly using shortcut. No var keyword, nothing. Method name, open close brace, define the function. Now I'll say this dot name equal to prompt, enter name boss, this dot age. prompt, enter age, boss. This dot this dot marks is equal to an empty array. Here I can't say dot length because by that time there are no values. You can use it. Anywhere we have for loop, while loop also can be used, but it in this case recommended to go with for loop. Even when we don't throw the length, but still we go with 0 and I++ stepwise incrementation. No. But still somewhere else you will be giving the condition, right? Okay. Now I have this guy. Now what I will do, I will say this dot read to data from the user. Done. Now when I come back and reload the browser, I say asking the name, Mr. Raj, age some 20. What happened? This has to be this dot marks, right? Okay, asking for the name, Raj, age some 20, subject 1 mark, so and so. This is what we have. Okay, so everything is happening. Now I have even reading the data dynamically. I'm using a method called as read data from the user. Can you do the same for the employee details? You can see the transformation of the coding, guys, from where we started now where we are into. At the very initial stage, individual scattered variables we used to define with all hard coded. We are transforming the code into the latest object oriented. That is not at all useful. Then a lot of people ask me a question, why you are wasted our time in discussing all those? You would have directly talked this, but without discussing that, without comparing that, you don't understand this guy. Why the reason we are going. Okay, so from now, anyone who is defining the variables or methods, it should be always a JSON object. Under the JSON object, define the properties and define the methods. You don't need to practice in the sense that is fine, but it is better to have this is fine. This if you understand this guy, that will be more than enough. How to? How to? Output you wanted. Okay. Reload it. Name, age, some 10, subject 1 marks, 50, 50, and 50. Then you need to ask the user. For example, you don't know, boss, right now I have hard coded 3. Now in that case, you need to say that where n is equal to prompt how many subject marks. Now I say n is equal to %% of n. Now you take this n as here. I will provide n here. So I'm giving the option for the user itself. Now when I save it, come back and reload. I say Mr. Prasad, age says 70, subject 1 mark. He's saying how many subject box? I will give only 2 subjects, boss. Then I'll say 66, 55, done. You give 100 subjects, he'll take for 100 values. Are we clear up to this? Yesterday I didn't understood. Okay, today you don't understood this. Okay, recursive function you're saying. Okay, I will do that. Instead of this dot name, can we use only name? You tell me, Vamsi. He's saying that instead of this dot name, I'll say only name. Is it possible? Anything what you have inside the object, it should be object name dot. If you are inside a JSON, then you can shortcut is this dot. No way you can do that. Sir, why we use this keyword? Why we use this keyword? Can you explain it? Ravi, that is what we are discussing till now, right? Anytime we are referring the properties of the JSON object within the JSON object itself, we can make use of the this operator instead of using the object name shortcut. You can refer that example, right? When you take any of your friend to your home, you always say this dot or my dot my dot. You never say Prasad's dot or your name dot. Okay, that is the shortcut. I mean, at your home, don't say that it is Prasad's. I'll come and take out the things. Okay, still how many classes we are left? Are you feeling bored of my classes? Okay, so Nagarjuna, I mean, how many classes, guys? Here we have the class tracking, right? Only yesterday, that is fine. Okay, class 42. That's it. This is the track, right? 44. Okay, today is 44. Then you know that how many classes we have promised it for? 85 to 90, right? Okay, this itself will tell you how many classes are still pending. Let us celebrate. Not too much. I will try my best to. I mean, you know, like the initial topics, right? As it is, you know, here we say that 42 classes, but have we really done in just 42 in the sense 42 days we have finished? No. When we started our classes? Feb 15. March is done, April is done. It's almost 2.5 years of 2.5 months of journey we have done. And tomorrow is holiday. Okay, I'll do one thing, guys. Maybe from next week's, right? Not on this month, maybe from March 1st, I will try to take some extra classes on Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, not every week, at least once or twice in a week. Same timing. I never change the times. Okay, for example, if I say that Saturday, sorry, 3 hours. Are you really coming for class? Okay. On Saturday, what we can do is instead of closing at 10 o'clock, we may finish at 11 o'clock, just 1 hour of extension. In the same way, if it is on Sunday, you know, if I take 3 hours of class, I mean, a lot of topics can be, we can cover it out. I mean, it doesn't mean that I just need to cover the topics. You know, like if you clearly observe this, if we go with the loopings and all, I mean, you yourself tell me saying that have you ever seen that any of the classes which are taking more than a week of time just for looping? It you should say no, man, when I'm asking. Okay, at least some people would have taken. But in general, I mean, when you are coming to this level and I'm asking when I'm teaching about the loopings, I mean, it's like just in 1 or 2 or 3 days is the maximum I need to finish it out. But we have taken almost more than a week of time just to cover only simple for loop, while loop, and do while. Imagine how much time we are doing for examples. So that is a good sign, guys. I mean, when you see that boss classes are taking too much lengthy, and the when in the class we are talking something called as nonsense, that is a problem. Have you ever seen that anything non-productive we are talking in the class? Nothing, right? The only thing why the reason it is extending is because we are taking some more depth or we are taking some more examples. That is a good sign. But I know that, I mean, there are some challenges for the people saying that this is the time I need to finish, either for I need to go back to my hometown or something else. You have some dependency. I know that. From that perspective, from March, keep reminding me. I will try my level best to take the extra classes and I'll finish on the time. Me. You guys are confusing me, you know. I like you guys and I thought like I'll continue the journey for a long time, but you're asking me to break it. That's fine. I'll break it. I'll finish it. Sorry. No. I mean, anyway, I'm just kidding. But my intention is I never, there will be a case like it will be skipping the things. Don't go in such a way that don't go in a wrong assumption that boss, when people are asking to finish it out, you will be going speed and you will skip the things. That will never ever happen. Okay. Even if I take the Sunday class also, after half an hour, you say that boss, I'm getting bored. It is getting overloaded. I'll stop there itself. Okay. So we'll try to make the things faster from now. Okay. because the JavaScript, etc. things and all, it's the very starting. It took a bit of time for me to make the things injected in your mind. But now you guys are expertise in JavaScript up to topics, whatever we have discussed, right? So obviously it will be simple for me to cover the other things. Okay, when we'll start working on the project? In fact, we have to start by now, Rohit. Do remind me on the Monday's class. I will give the project work also. What is the thing we need to do on the project? Okay. Or else, you know, one thing, you can start now itself. Let me show you the screens, guys. For example, you can start working on these things. Let me show you my existing. That is pending. Without that also we can do. This is one of the project what we are doing right now for my 7 a.m. batch. Okay, this is how the loading page looks like. Can you guys create a page like this? I'm not expecting as it is. I'm expecting similarly. Okay, similarly, I want you guys to design one of the web page for online shopping where it shows that what is the description, what is the footer, etc. things and all. Once I click on login, it will take you a new page called as login page, and you give the details. What is the details? Actually, right now, right, it is DB communicated Mongo. So, I mean, the credentials are happening through the Node.js and MongoDB server. So I can't give anything, whatever I have. Oh, I have even changed it as, I think, Prasad underscore user and hello. So this is my database, user account details, Prasad, and password is, can you see the password what I have? It is encrypted. 1 2 3 4 5 0 7 2 IP NMXB. Have we discussed anything about this captcha creator in our class? Okay, we'll come to that. Okay, once I click on login, you see I'm giving the ID password what I have in the DB. No hard coded thing. It is going to the DB, and from the DB, it is fetching out all the products. You have to create such type of page. Okay, this is an example you can take, but you need to mimic it and you need to get a better one. Okay, the more the better. I mean, you have to create more attractive, or more, you can add some more features for this, footers, etc. things and all. This is what the project you need to start. In fact, when you go into the GitHub under the project mockup, you have a project mockup document also. So this is the document for the product details page. You see here, when you go for this, it is saying that home page should be something like this. You need to have a header, footer, username, password, and all. But it should not be so simple as it is, but it should be something like this. Once I reload, you see when I'm clicking on login, be like having some footer part, etc. things and all, right? This is how I want you guys to create. Okay, you can go for individual mockup. See, this is the mockup. When I click on sign up, you have this. See, in my page also, when I click on forget password, it is coming for the forget password. Back to login. When I click on register, this is what you have. You don't need to work on how I'm traversing between the pages. You create the individual pages, login page, sign up page, product details page, forget password page, create individual pages with individual look and feel. Everyone, you can imitate Amazon, you can imitate Flipkart, whatever you want, you can mimic it, or you can copy that. Copy in the sense, not copy the source code, you can copy the look and feel. That's it. Okay, on the top, you create your own. And once you are done with the project, make sure you're going to submit it. Say, for example, for my 7 a.m. So where do they submit the project? Under your others folder. Till now, you're working on assignments folder. Now you need to create a folder called as projects. Under that, individual user will be having individual project. Now, say, for example, Nahid is there. When I click on this guy, so this is the project what he has created. So under public, these are all the files what he has created. Am I clear? Is he having the node modules? Okay, let us see what is the project they have done. I say CMD. So once I say NPM start, their project I'm starting, student project I'm starting. What is the port number, man? See, this is the problem you have with the port number. If I don't specify the port number, okay, they mentioned it is 8081. 8081. Okay, see, this is the project what she has created. Some product details, etc. things and all. Once I click on individual product, this is how the details are coming. So individual student has to create individual header, individual footer, individual theme. You can simply go with this. Okay. Can you utilize this tomorrow and day after tomorrow and start working on the projects? Okay, I want 5 pages to be created. Login, homepage, sign up, register, and product details. Okay, 5 individual pages. Don't need to implement any JavaScript. Simple HTML, CSS, whatever we have done till now, try to create that. Anything. Yeah, anchor tag links, you can do that. Okay, thanks for putting that project, Rohit. Your class, can I start React simultaneously? Okay, Hamlata, she's saying that, guys, please concentrate here. He's saying that, boss, can I start the React? Actually, right, not exactly now. Let me finish the advanced JavaScript concepts also, guys. Once we finish the advanced JavaScript, then you can join for either Angular or React. Okay. One more thing. Are we going to learn deep concept on Node.js? Obviously, yes, Nukras. That is what I said you, right? For example, if you see our existing 7 a.m. batch, they are into the starting of this, but let me show you what all we are covering. For example, the 7 a.m. batch, if we go with this routes, these all are the individual web services what we are creating. When I say that new user sign up, you see here, we are connecting with how do we create the MongoDB, how do we do the encryption concept, everything, whatever backend we have, those all things we'll be covering. Creating the web services, communicating with the DB, encryption, decryption, socket communication, those all things we'll be doing it. Okay, how will I get the products? You can hard code it, Roshan. Otherwise, if you are interested, you can make use of one of the folder in my GitHub UI classes, trendy fashion store. Under public folder, there is a data. Under that, there is a JSON file. You can make use of it. You have the list of all the products. If you want to copy, you can make use of this. Can you go to 8:30 batch and check projects now? 8:30 already started? Come on. I already said this to start the project. Then what are you doing when I'm discussing this? Come on. You would have asked me, right? Stop it. Why you're wasting my energy, man? Don't say that, man. You guys already did this and I'm unnecessarily talking about this. This is bad. Oh, you guys have already started. That's nice. Sorry. Responsive. Yeah, it is not. It is. We haven't yet started with that, right? This is bad. She's woman and she's selling only women's information. No men's beauty, kurti, oil, jewelry, footwear. What about boys? Who is this? Lakshmi 19. This is bad. See, women's are women's. See, oh, luckily she's selling men's watches and all. That's fine. That's good. Let us see this. This looks good. Nice. Okay, fine then. So you guys have already started. Then who's asked this question? When do we start the project? Mintra sister Santra. Okay, fine, guys. I'll check the projects, etc. things next. What are we discussing? Are you getting bored with my class? You are the one. You asked this question. When do we class stop the class? Yes, please. What is? I'm not getting that word. Shallow copying and deep copying. Okay. The concept of shallow copying and deep copying is, okay, that's a good concept. For example, I say where some data is equal to 90. I say A is equal to data. Now I say A plus plus. What is the value of A? What 90 or 91? 91, boss. Why it is 90? When I said A equal to data, I say where A equal to data. What is the value of A now? 90. Now what is the value of A plus plus? 91. What if I ask you what is the value of data? 90. This is called as normal copying of it. Now, when I say deep copying, what do you mean by this? I say data is equal to JSON object A colon 90. I said where B is equal to data. I say data dot A plus plus. What is the value of B dot A? B dot A. Or else, what is the value of data dot A? 91. This is called as deep copying. Anyway, I will discuss about this. In case of your objects, right? Whenever you are assigning an object to this guy, it never copies the concept or object structure into this guy. It will only create a multiple references to the same memory structure. So that is why even though you do B or data, both will be updated here. Okay, we'll discuss about this. Sorry. Line number 15 will be obviously 91. At the same time, data.a also will be, okay, b.a also will be 91. What is callback? Header. Callback hell. It is not actually callback hell. It is actually the problems what we face with your callbacks. You know, like what do you mean by callback? Once a function has been called, what is the, I mean, once a job is been done, this is the method which has to be invoked. There is something called as at the background in your JavaScript engine callback stack we have. And under the stack, it will be keep on pushing all the callbacks. Now, what if like one callback is depending on another callback and that callback internally depending on another callback? So that is never come out of this picture. Okay, so that is the reason to avoid the callbacks, concept of promises and async and await are being introduced from your ECMA6. From your ECMA6, it is never recommended to go with the callback functions. Instead, you go with the promises. Okay, fine. Unmute everyone. Okay, is JavaScript strict mode or non-strict mode? By default, it is non-strict mode. If you want to make it a strict mode, you can do that, Nagarjuna. I will talk about this. Actually, strict mode is, I will talk about this. I just don't want to give a small information. I'll give bigger information. Okay. What else? Now you're clear with the this keyword. You guys have wasted the time by giving other discussions. Okay, we'll do one thing. We'll pause it for today. And the next concept what we have is HTML. So guys, till now, whatever the topics we are discussing, we were only concentrating on how do we process the data. We never concentrated on how to show the data or how do we read the data from the page. It is never through the prompt method, never through the alert method we are going to show the data, never through the console.log also. So what is DHTML? In this concepts, now maybe like after at least for 1 to 5 days of time, within 5 days or 5 classes, we'll be only looking on not processing the data. How do we use this processor data on the page? Okay, that is what we'll be covering. Honestly, to be honest with you all, if I take 100 students, I teach DHTML, I get a feedback saying that 95 people say that it is confusion part. Okay, 95% of the people are saying that confusion part. Only remaining 5 people say that yes, it is so clear, it is simple. But honestly, it is simple. It's all like how much efforts you put it, how much practice you do that. That is what makes you perfect. Okay, at least I want to see 100% of understanding in this class. Okay, we'll see that. I will try my best to make it more explanation as I can. But on the top, you need to put the attention here. So happy Ramjan for you all. Have a good day. Happy weekend and bye for today.